Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Good morning, everybody. Hold on. I'm trying to get the music going here. Spotify is like not showing up here for me for some. I updated and restarted my computer and some things aren't working correctly. Well, let's just go over to the charts here. Octavia says Orange Man good. Well, I mean, it seems like the first day in the markets has gone okay. There was a decent amount of volatility yesterday. You can see a big dip kind of in the overnight here in the S&P 500. Treasuries moved up on reports that they are not going to do day one tariffs. And then you can see in the overnight there was an extension. I still have a position on, maybe should have taken it off, taken profit somewhere up in there, but that's okay. We can still hold it and manage it. You can also see oil coming down pretty hard. And there's a lot going on over there that kind of suggests that they want to push down the price of oil. Going over to gold and silver. Well, they kind of sold during all of that stuff yesterday, but it looks like they're still kind of like within the range, not as significant of a move. Copper kind of languishing a little bit after that huge run up at the beginning of the month. Well, it kind of was more mid-month, wasn't it? And we got the Japanese yen still holding a relatively decent uptrend. And Bitcoin, well, Bitcoin has come off of its best levels, but it is still above 100,000, well, 104. So not too bad in crypto world. Although I have to say, action in the cryptocurrency world, not quite as strong as I would have expected it to be yesterday. So, I don't know. Yeah, there's something wrong with, maybe I should restart again. I don't know. So one thing is that I have an Explorer window that's just like shot for some reason. You can see it right there. It's just like, it doesn't want to. Well, we're going to do a restart. It's probably going to restart our Windows Explorer session, but I think we're okay there. You guys are still there. Come on, let's see if I can get Spotify to open. See, like I go to start it and nothing happens. Is it in the background somewhere? Is it actually? So there's another one. This drives me crazy. Is that when you close DaVinci Resolve, it does not die. It does not actually shut down. Spotify widget, but not Spotify. Trump pardoned Uzi for all past and future crimes because he says I was born pardoned. Oh, you guys. Dude, I have real problems with this whole preemptive pardon thing. And here's the thing. I think that if you go to the Supreme Court, I think there's a pretty good chance that they strike that down. I really don't think that we should allow that. Like, there's really big problems if you allow that. But I don't think that it's going to get that far. Like, what charges are you going to bring to those people that they pardoned anyways? I just don't see it going. I just don't see it playing that way. So, yeah, the whole thing is kind of if. So that's fine over here. That's fine. Is just Spotify will not start. Oh, that is so annoying. Consider all the conspiracy theories we've heard about Ukraine, biolabs, Biden money laundering, etc., and then understand every pardon issued by Biden retroactively goes back to the month before the Russian-Ukraine war. Well, probably some of the pardons are like pardoning them for maybe real crimes. I mean, like for the Hunter Biden thing, which was like his family at the last second. I think that absolutely was. It seems pretty clear to me that the Biden family was involved in corruption of some degree. Whether it reaches the level of being criminal, I'm not entirely sure, but only because, it hasn't gone to court. So they haven't like submitted charges, right? But, it seemed like that if the Republicans decided to pursue it, and probably they would, and probably they still will, on Hunter Biden, that maybe there is a crime there, right? But there's a lot of the pardons that he was giving yesterday that were like, like they pardoned everybody involved in the January 6th committee. And I'm like, okay, but like what charges? So if you're going to try and overturn that, if you're going to say we're going to prosecute them, and you can't have like a preemptive pardon, how does that case get to the Supreme Court? What charges do they bring against January 6th committee that would hold up in court and make it all the way to the Supreme Court to try and overturn the preemptive pardon? Like, I could see them doing it with Hunter. Maybe you can do it with Fauci. Maybe. I think that one's a stretch, though. Like, I don't think that it's actually going to be now there was this thing like that with I think under Nixon they did a similar sort of thing, and again, like, they didn't challenge it. So I don't know. But like the issue with Fauci, I think that Fauci and Birx, really Birx did things that really were just actively undermining the current administration. 100%. But like, did what they do constitute criminal conduct? Oh, man, it's so weird to me now to think that like for so long we traded without the music. Why will Spotify not start? That's so crazy. Is there a service involved? Okay. My completely naive, I just want to get things to work solution to this is going to be to uninstall and reinstall Spotify. Why is Spotify 2 gigabytes in size? That seems kind of stupid. Eric says, any adjustments to your trading systems? Well, to the robots, we're still collecting data, I think, for the major robots. And there's one other piece that we need to write that, because I want them to consider how many days to expiration. So I think that's a simple indicator, but we have to write it. Okay, so I come over here and I open up this window, like installed apps, to try and uninstall Spotify. And it is hung. Microsoft, did you give me a bad update? Hmm. So when I push the button here to like show me the details about Spotify, it crashes. Oh, that's so curious. There's a Spotify widget. Maybe that's at play here. Okay, that was weird. Oh, you can't see that, but I try to start Spotify and it's like the name of it disappeared when I did that. It is definitely hosed. I'm gonna try one more time. I think I am going to go and get like a software removal tool, like Revo uninstaller, and try and uninstall that way. Well, that's interesting. The setup already exists. Replace it, yes. Well, that's not helpful. Spotify doesn't show up on this list. What? Maybe this way? Spotify, there we go. Uninstall. It's kind of, funny. Like, I saw some stuff yesterday that was like all of the pardons is kind of like a bridge too far sort of a thing. That like some people were turning on it. But like, I didn't really see any evidence of that. All I saw yesterday was people complaining about Elon Musk saying, my heart goes out to you, and everybody thinking that it was a Third Reich salute. That was just like, oh my gosh, Reddit in particular is just obsessed with that now. They are all convinced that Elon Musk is a fascist. Are trend lines and intuition a valid strategy? No, probably not. Okay, I think that the creating system restore point is taking way too long. Oh my gosh. There's some problems. There's some problems here. You won't even let me minimize it, huh? Oh my gosh. What a fucking nightmare. This is probably making things worse, but that pulled up a PowerShell. Huh. And now nothing's happening. Well, ChatGPT seems to think that I should uninstall Spotify. This person says that telling it to run as administrator fixed it. Okay. I think that it finished, or it thinks that it finished. Wow, it finds so many registry items. You gotta be kidding me. Does it still show up in the list? It does not. Does it still show up in my start menu? It does. If I try to install Spotify, it says that it's already installed. And then if I say, it says, would you like to have it open? And it won't do it. I feel kind of dumb, like restarting the whole stream because of Spotify, but I feel like that there's other larger problems with my machine here. So I'm going to stop streaming, restart my machine, come back. I would keep the broadcast going, so don't go anywhere, all right? Okay, I'm back. Are we back? Are you guys still there? We're back. Okay. And the music's back. So after I restarted, then Spotify was gone. I reinstalled it. I wonder if I had just restarted my machine to begin with, if that would have fixed the issues. But whatever. Okay. Rhythmic's okay. All right. We'll restart everything now. It also, when I restarted, it wanted to run another update. So I wonder if that's at play. Just want to adjust the camera there a little bit, but I think I went too far. There we go. Okay. NinjaTrader still loading here a little bit. Let's see here. So when I left, there was a little bit of selling, but since then, some pretty strong buying came in here on the treasury. So I think that we just kind of wait and see if we can beat the overnight highs. Mm-hmm. Okay, and that's better too. Good morning, all. Oh, there's D. How are you? Oh, very good. It looks like we got you all back, so we're mostly back to full strength. Very good. Is there anything else going on in the markets should be aware of? Well, copper's falling a little bit at the moment. I think I should relax a little bit. Oh, I should maybe pull up my terminal. I totally got everything that I wanted to do yesterday done. Today, was looking at some of my metrics the other day, and some of the YouTube shorts that we put out did really well. I think I need to do more of those. But I think I need to, for the most part today, get all of these things out of the way so that I can relax the rest of the week, because I will have to be watching kids and we're all sick. I got a sore throat this morning. Ethan woke up early, was screaming. They're sick. Oh, yes, the Trump meme coin scandal. Is that still going? I know I don't need to cry about it, but it makes me, pump Trump. Trending crypto, huh? Well, it looks like they're pretty much where they were most of the day yesterday, but down considerably from its highs. Maybe in the future he promotes it and it pushes up more or something, though. Who knows? Not a game I'm gonna play, though. While I'm thinking about it, I should come. Because I don't think I'm gonna mess with this trade here. Come on. You can be like that today, huh? I have to sign into everything. You hear about Trump's? Okay. I didn't watch the inauguration. Did you guys watch the inauguration? Yeah, it's on Solana. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so first thing I want to check is that my Goldman reported earlier in the week. Oh my. Oh my. They did do well on that day, but it looks like they have. Oh no! Wait! That's not right. How come the last day that I'm getting is Friday? Friday the 17th. Oh well, because they haven't opened yet. Yes, okay. So maybe down a smidge. 619. $619. Oh, it is showing me the current price. So it does look like they're giving up a little bit. But that's still up a lot. Uzi says some of it? What you talking about? I don't know if you were talking about the meme coin thing. How good are you at coding the best? I'm the best NinjaTrader programmer. So if you want it done in NinjaTrader and I can't do it, it probably can't be done. Don't ask chat questions. Well, the problem is that I might say, like, okay, if I say something and then I'm expecting chat to come back, I can either keep talking and fill the dead space, or I can wait however long for you to respond. And then if you don't respond, I'm just kind of left hanging and there's an awkward pause. So I have to continue on, which means that by the time I see your messages, I've already said 2 or 3 things and I don't know which thing you're responding to. So it really helps if you put a little bit of context in your reply so that I can tell which thing you're replying to. This is one of those things where it's like, we're gonna have a back and forth discussion. We should just pull people up on Discord, but you guys never want to do that, so that's okay. Oh my, yeah, they're up pretty good this week. Wait, can I add on here? How do I change the columns on this screen? I know I've done it before. Maybe I haven't done it before. Well, the prices that it's given me are still from Friday, so... Would really like to put more into this, but it's just not been working out for me, you know? How come I have 11 notifications on TradingView? What's with that? Shouldn't get like any. Oh, somebody boosted my script. Wow. Oh, that's interesting. Like that indicator, the volatility projected range, is getting a lot of people doing stuff with it. So that's super, super cool. I wonder what happened that made it so popular in the last 2 days, though. Somebody asked a question on about it, too. Been thinking about programming an app like Edgeful, but even better, making it capable of giving real-time probabilities of a trade working out and also signal for patterns which aren't known and have edge, which I've backtested 2,000 times. Well, I am aware of applications that try to do similar things like that are desktop applications, though. In particular... Well, and I don't remember his name. I'd have to pull up Twitter and kind of search through, but we had a guy that he had things like that. A lot of his edges were like, if we've been up 2 days in a row, the chances of us being up on the third day are like X much, or down 2 days in a row, the chances of us going down 3 days in a row are X. And it would kind of do these things where it was like, okay, here's all of the different setups that are relevant to this day specifically, and what all of the outlays of them say. And then he would use that to determine whether he wanted to go long or short. We could absolutely. I mean, that's one of the things that in a trading platform that I built, I want to make that platform more capable of doing those sorts of things. I mean, like I can include that stuff in NinjaTrader. I have ways of programming that and like putting it on a chart and all of these sorts of things. But if it was like built into the platform to begin with, you'd have a lot more flexibility. You could make something that's like feels way more integrated, you know? So this person asks, how would you tweak this for weekly and monthly timeframes? Just change the factor property. Well, I don't know if that would completely work. How many weeks are there in a row? Year 52 or 56? 52. So we did have a little bit of a boost that kind of brought us back up to the highs, but it's kind of been middling around now, and we're actually, that's come down and we're actually getting negative readings in cumulative delta. I would say that overall, like on our market order imbalance, that we still look like we're long. I probably should add 2 of those so that we have like the 10-minute market order imbalance, but so I wonder if I change these to factor of 7. Yeah. Yeah, so we were going to come through and look at the watch list here. Over the past month, who's up the most? Well, rare earth resources is up 18%, but, you know, that's a microcap stock, so it's not a huge deal. Here's DJT. So this one I find really curious. Like, okay, Donald Trump won the election. He's president now. And DJT is not moving. In fact, it looks like maybe they are selling. That's very curious. But I think that might reflect that the social media network itself isn't doing that well in spite of Donald Trump being involved. So it's kind of weird to see Nvidia up only 5% over the month, but Tesla down 11%, huh? Some of these. So Constellation Energy up 35%. Wow. That one is just gangbusters. CEG. What was that? Wow. Wowzer. That's an insane chart, dude. I don't remember why I put what they do. It has something to do with nuclear energy, but Crocs down 10%. Sleep Number down 13%. So consumer stocks aren't doing so well, except for Darden is up 10%. That's interesting. Some of these are probably just, you know, giving back a little bit. Like Cake up 50% in a 1 year. Tech is all down this month, though. Kinder Morgan. Oh, okay. They're up 13%. Yeah, we looked at them yesterday, didn't we? Banks are doing really good. Like 10% in a month for JP Morgan. That's really good. Walgreens is up 25% in the past month. That's curious because weren't they like closing stores and stuff? Wendy's down 14%. Warner Brothers 16%. I really feel like the Warner Brothers Discovery merger has been a disaster, but it was probably intended. Do you have a good understanding of footprint charts? Sure. I mean, I've written them before. I understand all of the things behind why they work. Or I mean, how they work, not why they work. Because I kind of like, generally speaking, I'm not really convinced that there's edge in them. Oh, I missed that Midnight had included some other comments in there. So how many people on your team would you need to program an app like that? I think that particular feature wouldn't be too particularly challenging. So I think that ideally you would get a team of like 5 people, but you wouldn't need that many to start out. Like I could just start out with just me, you know, maybe really all I need to fund Seth creating a trading platform is, you know, a year's worth of salary or something like that. That maybe I could pull, but then I would have to give away equity. So I don't know. But that's something that, you know, I don't think that it would require a significant increase in resources to be able to include that. It's something that I wanted to put in there to some extent. Okay. Question regarding programming. What made you decide to build your indicators at gross versus at each tick level? Yes. Okay. So the main motivation behind creating the indicators was so that you can create algorithms and robots that trade off of market depth. When you create an indicator that is like a footprint chart or the what do we call these, the Vista charts or whatever you get, that one where it's like you have the full chart and like the market depth at each level and it colors it differently and stuff like that, right? Okay. You're looking at several different data series. So how do you use that in a robot, right? You're only going to be able to look, you want the robot to look at one data series. Well, not one data series, but like I might say when this data series is doing this and when this data series is doing this. But how do you sort out when there's like 50 data series in a thing and like a lot of it is just noise, right? So the indicators can show all of the information that is being shown to you in any of those indicators. You just have to change the filters the correct way, right? Like if I only want to see what's going on the inside 2 or 3, then I just set my level filter to like only show 2 or 3. Like the position max to be 2. Okay. And then, so maybe I want to trade off of just overall activity in the book. I want it to do something to do with that, but I only want it to be when it's happening on the inside, right? Then I can go into the indicator. Tyler says, what do you sell on your website? Well, this is an example. So I can come in here to this level 2 changes indicator and see there's this min level filter and max level filter. So if currently it's showing everything, but if I only wanted to show the inside too, then I would just set inside or max level filter to 2. And if you wanted to show it at like a specific, like if I specifically wanted to look at 10 ticks away, then I could just set min and max to 10. And then it would only show me that one level, right? So you can filter these down to whatever you want, but you have to be able to filter it down to potentially a single data series to be able to use it in a robot. So that's why it's set up that way. So I think if I'm going to sell you the indicator package, the main idea behind my indicators is that when you're just looking at price data, there's a lot of noise in that. There's a lot of problems with that. And so it's generally not enough to really find an edge. So we really want to incorporate as much data as we can into our decision making. And, things like news and sentiment, those are definitely things that you want to include. But another really powerful one is the order flow. There's all sorts of data about what's going on the exchange that your charts aren't showing you. So one example of that is what I'm showing you over here, like the market order imbalance. This is telling us whether the market orders are net buy or net sell. And right now we've seen a relatively strong impulse come in that has kind of shifted the balance to now the treasuries are net sell and we are down as well. So that kind of makes me concerned about what the trajectory of today is going to be. But it's not a big enough change for me to really freak out about. But that's a piece of information I'm seeing that I might not necessarily be able to see with price. Sometimes price will just come down and there's not actually a change like that. Okay. Another indicator they have, and probably the one that is like the people are the most interested in, is this inventory cost basis. So what inventory cost basis does is it attempts to sniff out where market maker positions are based on where they got filled and kind of modeling how they might take profits and so forth. So you can see there's going to be, it's actually, if I have to really go out, you can see the other lines. So there's these two lines in the middle are the buyer and seller's average cost basis. And then these lines on the outside edges that are kind of dotted is like the stop out zone. So basically when you get to the stop out zone, no market maker, like if we were up here, no market maker that was market making short could be profitable above that. So it kind of tells you a little something about the market. But these two lines in the middle tends to act as key levels that we bounce off of a lot, right? And you know, it's like one thing to be like, oh, you know, here's a number and it bounces off of it. But like almost every time that it will come back, it'll bounce. If it's been away from it and it comes back to it, it bounces almost every time, I would say. Now, building an edge off of that is kind of a little bit difficult because, you know, if it's wrong, it's like super, super wrong. It doesn't happen very often, but like it's on a risk reward basis, you know. But is that a useful thing? Like if you bought down here and it got to that line, yeah, good profit taking level. So that's just kind of one example of the sort of indicators that I have. Generally speaking, though, it's that when you have your chart, all your chart is showing you is price. And what I'm saying is that's not enough. I'm giving you additional data that you can look at. So whether it's order flow, I have some indicators that are related to news. I have some indicators that are related to like related asset. Like I can look at the spread between my instrument and another instrument, for instance. That's what the indicator package is. NinjaTrader 8, it's $200. We have an affiliate program for it too. Hey, did you have to make adjustments to trading hour templates to correct tick replay data? Because my tick replay deltas are different from non-tick replay data. Well, so for deltas, so like if you're looking at just delta, your tick replay and your live will be different. And they'll be different by usually like 5%, but there could be extreme examples where it could be different by as much as 20%. If it's like different by like double or something like that, then something's messed up for sure. And if the reload all data doesn't fix it, then I'm not really sure what the deal is. But I haven't changed any of that sort of stuff. So coming into here, trading hours. So it would be CBOT, interest rate, ETH, right? And the key, oh geez, have to come all the way down here. Yeah. Oh, no, that's interesting. Okay, so here's Martin Luther King Day, early close. That's all I have. It's plus 8K on a non-replay chart and negative 2.8K on a tick replay. Oh, jeez. That doesn't seem right to me. And when you refresh the tick replay chart, it still says negative 2.8. And that's the NinjaTrader one, right? NinjaTrader Delta. It's curious. And you know how the delta indicator for NinjaTrader 8 will color the value label red or green? The label on the replay chart instance is gray. I don't know. That still sounds to me like a data problem, you know? Like maybe their data is just screwed up. Maybe if you changed the chart to only show 1 day of historical data, it would be closer to what, I don't know. How long would it take you to build the feature and signals for edge and patterns as well as a real edge, like not like the statistics from edge? Well, okay, so hold on. So in NinjaTrader 8, I have a little framework. I don't think I have it on my website, but it's up on Futures.io somewhere. That it basically lets you run statistics. So did I transfer it over to my new computer? Yeah. Stats. So basically, you add this indicator, and it will give you statistics on probability of all of these different things. Break of overnight range, overnight high, overnight low, blah, 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 blah. Right? Okay. It's based on a little framework that I made. So you come to the editor. Okay. And I have a little class here called stat that allows me to define a couple of things. So it defines a method and data series that you run against it, and then you override them and you just say, for each test, add it into this, or you add them into a collection, and then for each stat you go through and you run the test. And so like right here, here's all of the methods, and this is the test that it's running to do it, right? And then so you can add as many stats as you want to the thing, and then it will run them all and give you the information out, right? So it's and you have the code, so you can go in and modify it, and basically all you got to do is add another one of these methods, and then go back up to the top and add a line to add the stat. And that's it. And it works pretty well. So that would be the sort of thing that I would be adding in there, but maybe a little bit more elaborate. So that's something that I think would only be like the minimum valuable, like MVP proposition, minimum valuable proposition. I think I could do it in 2 weeks. But if I was making my own platform, there's other things that you would have to get the minimum valuable proposition for the platform as a whole. Like it has to be able to connect to the data and all of those sorts of things. That's probably much bigger task. So if you just want to be programming your own statistics like that, you can do it right now. And it's free. It's a free indicator. Yeah. And then this kind of comes to the thing where it's like, okay, well, if there's a stat and you want me to program it, then you can pay me to program the stat. But I'm curious to know what the signals or the tests that you believe provide edge that you would want to have compared to the ones that Edgeful has. you know, generally speaking, I find that when we make statistics like that, that they kind of give you, they're kind of deceptive because it's not giving you like a risk adjusted thing, right? Like I prefer to just make a strategy that says when X conditions are met, take a trade. What are the outlays on it? Time exit, perhaps, just so that I can see, is this a good entry exit? Or you just is this a good entry? You don't want to consider the exit, right? But that indicator in NinjaTrader, that took me a week and then a week to like debug it or add a bunch of different tests to it. So a lot of my indicators are things where like I have a free version of it and then there's a paid version that's just a little bit more elaborate. Like, for example, we create a new chart here. Let's just do the, let's just do ZN, 1 minute, 5 days. And then I can add the range histogram. So there's a free range histogram, but there's my paid range histogram that allows you to do things like use area and use value area percent. Change that to 0.5. And there's also filtering. Okay, so this shows me the range of 1 minute bars, essentially. And it's saying that you make as much, the value amount of value in the bars that are 2 ticks or less is equal to the ones that are 3 or more. Yeah, I can post the actually good question about is what I actually posted on there. Was it a zip file? Did it have multiple indicators in it? Do I have? Well, I want to go back to my old PC and look and in custom export Ninja script is probably the one where we stats. Yes. Ah. Okay. Paid Discord. Yeah, let's put it in the paid Discord. General channel. Oh, I missed the Rugsoft guys. Seeing an error. Rugsoft is seeing an error that kind of reminds me of the errors that Uzi is seeing. Oh, right. Yeah, you're not using the cost basis, but it kind of seems to me like Rugsoft is seeing the same error, but with the inventory cost basis. Yeah, update method on bar 527, object reference not set to an instance of an object. So it's and it's on bar 527, which basically means like it's going along, it's fine, and then all of a sudden it gets to this spot and it's not there when it should be. And what's with that? And it's got to be that like some hour template is off, and so it thinks that there should be a value there when there's not. Yeah, because the data's not, because your data's a little screwed up, you turned it off. I understand. What's curious to me is that I haven't had these issues. So I don't know what I've done. Maybe it's something that, like, if you're using the latest version of NinjaTrader or something like that, that they've introduced. And yeah. So I'm guessing that you're on more recent version of NinjaTrader than I am. I need to, I've been considering, so one of the things is that I can get the kinetic data. I have to pay like the exchange data fees, but that's it, which is like only like $20 a month or something like that. So I've thought about doing that. I've also thought about getting the Rhythmic, paying for the Rhythmic data. Like if I'm going to build my own platform, probably need to pay for the Rhythmic data. So, but, and I think that we could right now, but not while we're kind of in risk off mode, unfortunately. I need to learn to stop doing that. I stopped updating Jigsaw. Well, wait, what version of Jigsaw are you on? I mean, you might not necessarily want to do the beta, but I would still recommend being on 4022. The beta. It's interesting that we still haven't gotten an update on the beta. Kind of wonder. So it sure does seem like they take way longer to come out with updates than I would have thought. But I don't know, it's just a good example of where I'm like, okay, like, you know, I want to make my own platform. Okay, they've got like a whole team over there, right? And how long does it take to release? You know, it's not like they're redesigning the whole platform. It takes months. It takes months. There are some things that I could do that I would be able to get like features out really quickly at first. Yeah, you stopped at the beta, but that should have you at 4022. For what Jigsaw is. Well, but I think that the reason why it takes so long is because they consider the reliability and stability of the product to be absolutely paramount. And every amount of stability that you want to have is just like the amount of effort that you have to put into it just goes up exponentially. So you end up with this thing, you know, this balance that's like I need my application to be stable, but I also need it to have new features so that people want it. How do you balance those things out? And for them, it's probably they're balancing it out towards more stability, and hence it taking so long. Okay, midnight. So if I give you my model, which has significant edge in 1,000 trades, well, so first of all, we would want to do more than 1,000 trades. We'd want to test it over like 5 to 10 years, as many trades as we can get. But if we had a model like that, based on your description of things, would not recommend selling it, because, and I guess it depends on the time frame for it, but especially when it's like an intraday time frame, if everybody in the market becomes aware, or like this is out there and people are trading on it, people are going to size up, and it will ruin the edge. It will ruin the edge. Now when it's kind of a higher time frame thing, then you kind of get a slightly different behavior, like with what you get with momentum strategies, where they'll get popular, strategy doesn't do very well, so people will give up on the strategy, and then it will come back with a vengeance. And maybe perhaps if you're working on you have really good handle on doing all of the data series analysis, correlations between them, so that you're managing your risk better than other people and stuff. Like, you know, the naive version of it won't work, but yours version still will, right? So in a situation like that, what you would want to do is you would want to have an agreement that neither of you ever share the edge with anybody else, and you put a limit on the size that you can trade. So we could calculate, and again, this depends on the kind of the time frame it is. But if it's an intraday thing, then we would go and we would calculate, you know, what is the optimal number of contracts to trade on this, and then each of us would only get 50% of that optimal number, right? My ZT on Jigsaw is showing 3 separate opens for the... okay. And the thing is, this isn't the first time that I've seen the trading applications have issues with the trading templates around a holiday because, like, you know, they programmed it in that it was supposed to be this time, and then the exchange has since changed it and they didn't update it, or, you know, so something like that. Well, by the way, we are at the bottom end of the range in ZN. The metrics that I'm getting aren't like super awful, but it does show about 12,000 contracts net short. So, you know, that's not what I wanted to see today. But so far, it's just been a relatively quiet and mild session. So I'm not quite sure what to make of that, to be honest with you. By the way, now that the market is open, I can come over here and look at these and get slightly better data. Yeah, okay. How's the Trump going? You want me to pull that up again? Actually, let's pull it up on TradingView. Maybe a little bit of a spike somebody tried to create, but I'd still say pretty lackluster. It's intraday based on a 5-minute time frame, so you're saying it's better to not sell it and trade them. Oh yeah, if it's intraday. I mean, for the things that I find that I really think are like intraday trades and are good, I don't necessarily sell it on the stream. The tools that I have, so you say, oh well, why do you sell the tools, right? Well, those are just tools. They aren't a strategy. So I'm giving you the tools that you need to be able to see certain data and analyze certain data, but I'm not giving you a strategy about how to trade with that data, right? Part of that is because I can only look through it so much, right? So I make the tools available to everybody. You build a community around it, makes the tools better. People get ideas and try different things, and it makes it better. So that's kind of been the advantage of selling that. But an actual strategy I would not sell you a strategy. I have like strategies that I posted in Discord, but I'm not saying trade those strategies. And I would pretty explicitly say I wouldn't necessarily recommend trading this. It's just an interesting thing that we kind of found. And maybe y'all can mess with the strategy more and make it work, but it was the strategy back tested correctly and everything, and I think that the real-time performance of it was okay, but the real-time performance of it was not trading quite what I wanted it to. And once I went and traded it the way that I wanted it to, that didn't work. So it was kind of like, I don't know if that really, because I wanted to have something that we could watch it, you know? But the way that it was taking trades, it wasn't interesting to watch, so. I think we could, well, maybe I could just turn it on. My robots that try to take advantage of the level 2 indicators. Yeah, if it's based on 5-minute time frame, it's probably better to trade it ourselves. Yeah, he's like, yeah, turn it on. I wonder, so do I have it still here? Let's look at it. I know that there's a flaw with it, but not indicators, strategies. Yeah, this one right here. What is it doing? Market order imbalance period. Oh, no, I have a default period. So this one is a 5-second chart. But I think what we really want is just a 1 minute. Okay. Oh. Well, whatever. Okay. The reason I went, oh, is because there's not really a very good exit. Just exits at stop time. Maybe I would like to add something that just says stay in for like 5 minutes or something like that. How about making a bot based on the strategy and selling it that way we know? That way no one knows how it really works. Well, no, because the issue is that you need to optimize the number of contracts trading it. Once it becomes public, you lose control over the number of contracts trading the strategy, right? So you're right that there is one side of it, which is like I can make a model available and not tell the public completely how the model works. That's a slightly different thing. But I mean, you know, there's other sides to it. Like, you know, there are a lot of, well, the things about the market that I know that really work, like I'm really positive are good strategies, require a certain amount of scale, generally speaking. You know, scale that I don't have. So that's where it might make sense to be like, you know, sell it to somebody that does have the scale, right? Would reverse engineering a bot be possible? I mean, if all you had was the trades that the bot took, I think it would be very hard. Because, for instance, you have a bot and it's trading on the treasury, so I can show on the chart where its entries and exits are and things like that. Okay, what is it using to trade? And then you might go and try and take every possible permutation of what the price is doing to figure out why it's going long and it's going short. But what if it's using some other proprietary piece of data that you just don't have access to, right? Then you're never going to be able to sort it out. So I'm browsing Reddit here and I see this change my view. Vivek Ramaswamy was right that Americans lose to Asian immigrants because of cultural issues that don't respect education and achievement. I'm always a little bit I'm always a little bit skeptical when a cultural issue there's sort of like a broad issue that we're seeing in society is attributed to culture. You know, honestly, when we talk about it with like black people, just as an example, that like, well, black people have not really fared that well since the end of slavery. And they haven't done that well relative to like other groups that maybe not as bad, but experienced historic repression of some sort, right? And I think that it's a really interesting and insightful thing to look at the sorts of attitudes and culture in the black community that could potentially be holding them back. But I kind of disagree with this idea that it's like, well, if they weren't, you know, if they didn't have degenerate culture, then they wouldn't have these problems. Because it's just extremely unlikely that you're going to get like a certain culture that's like so negative, you know, so bad against, or so ineffective, let's say, and people continue to do it and all of those sorts of things. And so when I look at on that one, I can see a lot of reasons why structurally, why they might develop that culture, right? Like it was kind of forced, it was really coerced upon them. There was all, like rap music, for instance. It was really marketed to them specifically. And I kind of wonder if it was not that, there was intentionally putting stuff into the music to cause people to make bad decisions, I guess you could say. The government assistance, it seems to me that the way that the government assistance works kind of works against the people that are in poverty and keeps them in poverty. Are you multi-streaming? Not right now. I probably should. I should probably stream on Rumble. Oh well. Anyways, so by and large, I am partial to a structural explanation for a problem. So let me give you an example. Here's how they pull the wool over your eyes. So there's a problem. For instance, we have mass layoffs in society now. This is not something that happened, 50 years ago. It is something that really kind of only started in the 70s and 80s. And what they will tell you is, well, you know why we have mass layoffs now? It's Milton Friedman. Milton Friedman is the reason that we have mass layoffs now. He was the guy that came in and he said that a company's primary responsibility to society is to generate profits. And so they claimed that corporate America really embraced that philosophy of things, and that resulted in some of the business decisions that are made today that are so anti-consumer and anti-worker. Well, the issue that I have with that argument is that Milton Friedman never specifically commented on mass layoffs. Wasn't really a thing while he was still alive. And if he was alive today, I think that he would be very upset. He's probably rolling in his grave, because almost all of the studies that we've done on this suggest that companies who treat their workers well do better. That mass layoffs have a negative lasting impact on companies that hurts their long-term profits. So Milton Friedman would be advocating that if a company's primary responsibility is to generate profits, that they should also treat their workers well, because that generates more profits. Here's the thing. They're creating an enemy, right? They want you to focus over here because it's very easy to say, Milton Friedman, he's the one that's responsible for all of our problems. When the real enemy is the system. The system is the real problem. There were things that changed in the economy, in the corporate world. They had nothing to do with the culture. It was just like financial innovations and things that people discovered that were always going to happen that result in these sorts of things. For instance, leveraged corporate buyouts, changes in the way that boardrooms work. So now you have this situation where there's a group of people that very much benefit from the short-term success of a company at the expense of the long-term success. And these people have so much power that they are able to do things that are objectively harmful to everybody else, including the long-term shareholders. Why? Because of the rules of the game. The system is the enemy. And anytime that you go and you see them and they're like trying to point at a specific guy or some specific cultural attitude or something like that, they're probably wrong. You usually do not get these wide society-wide changes like that without some sort of structural thing pushing it along. I give you another example is like the sexual revolution and people's changes in attitude about sex outside of the bonds of marriage and things like that. Well, there's been a shift. And people will say, people turned away from religion and that's why there's been a culture. No, the reason there was a cultural shift is because of the pill. I mean, come on. The pill came in and it changes the risk-reward considerations for people, and so a lot of people said, I'm absolutely going to take that risk, and that's why it's gone the way that it is. And it takes some time because the next one generation is kind of already set in their ways, right? So it's taken us 2 or 3 generations to kind of see it develop and see where it goes. Someone who's been on the small sides of big jobs, even the safe, I know I can't be fired, people distrust and leave. It really bothers me. This is why I'm really interested in things like activist investing and so forth, because I really do not believe that the CEOs and the corporate boards and everything are always doing the thing that is in the best interest of the shareholders. Because I just fundamentally don't believe that shareholders and workers are at odds. I mean, you can take that approach, but you're not going to be as successful. The companies that have really done that are like the amazing companies that really make people billionaires and things like that, they were always started, at least, by really, really rewarding their employees. Like giving them equity in particular. So Vivek, his whole thing, I really don't think that guy knows what he's talking about. The whole thing that he didn't even make it past inauguration day and he's already leaving the Doge team because they say that like he's all talk and no action. I mean, everything about this guy just screams to me that he doesn't really have business acumen. He doesn't really know any of this stuff. He's just failed upwards in his life. Octavia says the Fed is the problem. Well, I don't think that the Fed is the reason why we have mass layoffs. There are, and this is where we get into kind of some of the more complicated problems, because you need to have a counter-cyclical asset, essentially, that the recessions are going to happen. It's just inevitable one way or another. Some sort of a disaster is going to come along, and markets themselves are prone to these sorts of cycles anyways. So I don't think that you're ever going to get rid of recessions. And when you do have a recession, you have to be able to respond to that recession and bring the economy out of it. And so that's what treasuries are about, is that we have to be able to adjust the money supply based on the conditions. Now, the problem that we have is that while things are better and more stable than they were before the Federal Reserve is still not perfect, right? That system is going to result in certain inefficiencies. One of them being that there's a lot of money to be made in just front-running what the Federal Reserve is going to do, something that people that already have a lot of capital can do, but everybody else can't. And then, they're able to increase their assets, they're able to deal with inflation just fine, and the average person can't. So that's one problem. And then the other problem is that the Federal Reserve is just not perfect at all decisions. Part of that is because the economics that they're using are just fundamentally flawed. And if we could get into more agent-based modeling over at those institutions, I think that we would probably make a lot better decisions. Part of it is there are political considerations that they say don't come into, that aren't factored in, but I think that they are factored in, even if it's subconsciously, right? So, there's problems with the Fed, but this is where it's always like, again, I kind of feel like that our attention is always pointed in the wrong direction, right? Because if we say, okay, there's some problems with the Federal Reserve, and how would we possibly change, why do those things happen? What is it about the system that results in those certain outcomes, essentially? So we take a market microstructure perspective from it, right? And then those are things that we can possibly tweak to try and fix those issues. And we can change our agent-based models to reflect that change and then see how that plays out and look for possible unintended side effects, for instance, right? But the reality of it is there are people that benefit so much from the system as it is today, they don't want the system to change. And one of the best tools that they have to prevent the system from changing is to distract you by pointing all of your attention at a particular person. So whether it's Jerome Powell or Milton Friedman or Donald Trump or whoever it is, so that you get all angry at him and you never actually propose changes to the system. You never actually change the system because they've convinced you that the problem is the person. See? Something that I've been thinking about a lot lately that just really irks me. Trump voters will be doing Elon's freedom salute by 2028. I guarantee it. I'm sure that there probably will be people that will, intentionally, ironically start doing the salute. Yes, probably. Especially since Reddit thinks that it's a Nazi thing. So they will do it. It's just like the OK sign, like the way that they turned the OK sign into a supposed white supremacy symbol when it never was. They were just doing it to troll. Yeah, they're probably going to start doing it just to troll. Another thing that I'm seeing going on today, by the way, is lots of mind reading. Lots of mind reading. Everybody on the Democrat side is completely convinced that they know what Republicans and Donald Trump are thinking, and that they're thinking about, committing a Holocaust or something. Seeing all of these claims about things that you couldn't possibly know unless you were a mind reader. And they're pushing that 25 again. Kind of curious to see if they can make it to the other side this time or not. Because that 25 is still kind of the cost basis short. The stock rally is at risk from the first pronounced drop in excess liquidity in over 2 years. Overall, not seeing a whole lot of news to trade off this morning, though. Have you seen all these videos of like Elon Musk and Jeffrey Bezos like moving their heads weird and stuff like that? Is that so? Like for Elon Musk, I would think, well, he's autistic. He might just be stimming. He might just be uncomfortable and moving in a way to try and like pop his neck or something like that. Doesn't realize that people are watching or care that people are watching. But Jeffrey Bezos, he is doing weird stuff with his face, and I'm like, is he on drugs? It makes me wonder, is there like a drug that would make people act like that? Because it's kind of weird they have multiple of them doing that. Did you see Zuckerberg checking Bezos? Is that Bezos's wife? I did see that. Or he's looking at, you know, because the girl is she had like a business coat on with like just a bra underneath and showing quite a lot of cleavage. And Zuckerberg is just like, okay. And like he does the face and everything. Like, this is another one where like, I don't think that Mark Zuckerberg is autistic, but he is probably neurodivergent to some degree. He's probably neurodivergent to some degree, because those are the sorts of things that, like, if I was a famous person, that I think I would be getting in trouble for doing all the time. You know, like, because we're watching it and we're like, what are you thinking? You don't realize that people are watching? But then I think about it and I'm like, yeah, but if I'm sitting there, boring thing for hours and hours, even if I know that the cameras are rolling, I'm going to have a hard time suppressing my, you know, just natural inclinations of things to, you know, fidgeting and so forth because I'm uncomfortable, regardless of like how it looks to other people. Heck, I have problems with that while I'm streaming sometimes. I just like, if I'm uncomfortable, I'm gonna fix it. Whether it's my nose or my eyes watering or whatever the deal is, right? I'd be vibrating like the Flash. Yeah, I would definitely have like a bouncing leg for sure. Let me find the one with the today. Is it this one? No. And who is this girl anyways? Oh, you know what? I thought that there was a GIF. Lawrence Sanchez is an American journalist, author, and philanthropist who gained fame as entertainment reporter and news anchor. She's a licensed pilot and founder of Black Ops Aviation and is engaged to Jeff Bezos. Oh. She's been a guest host on The View, news anchor at a local news station. And Bezos is a simp. Well, I honestly, well, I don't know. I kind of expected that it would take Bezos longer to get remarried. You know, it's only been like, what, 2 years? I guarantee Mark is trading in his wife as soon for someone who will have the same face as Lauren. He's building a huge divorced energy. Okay. They had an affair together while they were, what Bezos and Lauren Sanchez did? Well, that's interesting, I guess. We're still sitting there right at that line, but they're not crossing it. So I'm not gonna hold my breath. My bet is that we don't. If we see 28, it might be long after I'm gone or tomorrow. It's just, if you know, I would have thought you're such a rich man that you would at that point strongly, and especially at that age, be like, well, maybe I just don't need to be married. Or you would at least be a lot more cautious about who you do. But if it was like already a thing before he got divorced the first time, and maybe they were just, then I guess it was only a matter of time, huh? But like, I think the thing that really irks me whenever I watch the internet's reaction to these things is that we've built these billionaires up. Like we've built them up to be these are like the smartest and best amongst us. And I really don't think that that's the case. I think that by and large, they are normal people that came across extraordinary circumstances. Now, being in circumstances like that changes you, and largely for the better, but there are downsides to it as well, right? So there is a lot that you can learn from these people, but we could get away from this idea that like if somebody's made money, that must mean that they're smarter and more valuable or something. This is usually not the case. If you want to make money, be stupid. Do stupid shit. Because it's the people that are so stupid that they're willing to take those really, really narrow, those really, really crazy risks that should never work out. Those are the people that tend to get rich. So you have to take risks. Elon is interesting to me because Elon understands this part very explicitly. Like, I think that he's very much aware of like his limitations and where he has problems. He does not going to say anything about it publicly, but I think that when you're ADHD or autistic, that you're just acutely aware of your limitations because you're constantly experiencing them when you interact with people. But he also understood that like it's all about risk, and that you only have to have one time work out. It only has to work out one time and you're a billionaire, right? And he goes to the point of, if you're not failing like half the time, then you're probably not taking enough risk. So it's not just that he understands to take risk, but he's almost systematized it to some extent about how much risk he needs to be taking on. Send a picture. Looks like they're tagging 88. Yeah, for those options. Well, I don't know. Kind of, because it's looking like they're maybe they have enough to go through, and we are getting a little bit more significant of a change in cumulative delta long, but that's after a cell, more than one cell, so it's still like the overall day looks kind of mixed. I don't have really strong evidence of like a persistent imbalance that dominates the day. Probably there's some degree of meta order that's going on, but it's mixed, and so maybe a meta order could come in later and push us down. Oh, I forgot about the whole Gulf of Mexico thing. Where did that come from? Where did the Trump renaming the Gulf of Mexico? That just seems so left field to me. It's so bizarre. Like, I could understand if, like, there was some historical precedence to call it the Gulf of America, or, like, it used to be called that or something. But, what? I don't know. This is probably as like freedom fries. I don't know if any of you remember the whole freedom fries thing, but after 9/11, when George Bush was president, France was not entirely supportive. And so they decided to rename anything that was French to freedom. So they weren't French fries anymore. They were freedom fries. Freedom fries sounds like it would sell good here too. You could go to the cafeterias in DC and they would call them freedom fries. It didn't last for very long, but it did happen. And I'm sure it'll be just like that. It's like you'll have maps that will have the Gulf of America on it, and then the next president will come along and change it back. And it's been called the Gulf of Mexico for so long. I highly doubt that people will go along with the change, because this is one of those things like this whole thing in Spanish, like, oh, we need to have like gender neutral case and all of this sort of stuff. The problem that you get with this sort of idea is that your brain is literally encoding these words into your brain cells. So you have a whole people that have a neural network set in stone, and then you're going to come in and change it on them. Like, that's not going to work. Like, I totally understand this whole thing that's like, well, we need to change it so that in future generations they don't have that thought process. It's never going to happen. It's never going to work. It's never going to work. It's already like that. You just kind of have to accept it. And like, quite frankly, it's kind of like just the height of arrogance to come in and mess with like literally everybody's brains over like some theory of yours about the way that society should be. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, there are some things when you understand the way that people work. Well, we're getting a little bit better here. Let's see if we can see 28 before the end of the stream. They're going to stop just before that so that we don't see it, huh? No. I said earlier I'm concerned that we won't see it and that we might not even see it till tomorrow. So that means that they're definitely going to hit it now to prove me wrong, huh? Now we've got to work on the reverse psychology on the market makers. Oh, you know what? I added the strategy on here, but I didn't enable it. I was looking at it and I'm like, how come I don't have the how come I'm not seeing the data series? Well, because I didn't enable it. There we go. Because otherwise, maybe it would have taken a trade through that. I think it might have taken a trade through that. I don't remember a chunk of our state names. You think I'm going to remember them naming something? You don't know all of the names of the states? I mean, I know all of the names. I couldn't recite them in alphabetical order like some people. I never. There was that song, and I just kind of sang along, and I didn't really memorize it. Yeah. Oh, there we go. That was a good chunk of volume at 28, in fact. But given how long we were up there, like at the beginning of the session, that'd be really spectacular if they just immediately. Oh, okay. So it's going to try and take a short here. Oh, no. It's taking a long because the imbalance is so high. Probably I need to add some things into this. Like you don't do it until you've been a couple of bars first, right? Because that's only like the first bar. But I'm okay with it buying. I'm okay. It can buy. That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I also kind of think that I want it to like only like a time-based exit. Like only stay in it for 5 minutes. Or maybe we could say 10. Let's say 10. Because the period is 10. No, Dave Rubin vowed to leave the internet if Joe Biden completed his term without dying. You know, I thought there was a good chance of Joe Biden dying before the end of his term. I do kind of wonder. The thing that will be interesting will be, does Joe Biden make it to the end of this next term? Because if he doesn't, then it was like, whoo, we really dodged a bullet there, right? Well, market hasn't moved at all since it got its trigger, so. I think we should add some of these things in here. Nice trade. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm still holding it from yesterday, so. Oh, I don't have it set to calculate on each tick. Let's disable this strategy. Okay, now I got that. Bar. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. We should have gone all in on the 17th of January of the meme coin. Well, maybe if I had known about it when it first was released. By the time I had even heard about it, it was already done and over with, right? Trying to find the video where he spoke about the speed of the tape. I'm not sure what you're talking about necessarily, to be honest with you. Okay. Let's see here. Positions. Plan
Order
everything. Okay. Let's try it now. Period 10. And then there should be time exit 10. Okay. Enabled. Aha. That says expecting calculate on each tick. Did I not change it over here? Probably not. Probably need to remove it and then add it back on. Okay. See if that fixes it. Oh, and then I have to enable this strategy. Enabled. Come on. There we go. Better. Better. I think the next thing that I would want to incorporate into our strategy, by the way, would be to look at correlated instruments and so forth, because like you can get a situation where like, you know, the treasuries are overall net selling, but like the Japanese yen is going up or something like that, right? That's where those are the situations where your market order imbalance isn't going to work. So if I can just program it to deal with those, I think that would be a pretty good approximation of what I do in general, except for that it wouldn't be able to tell, like, wouldn't be able to have the daily bias that I have. Ross Phillips says, I have people on Discord that are trying to request me, not sure which one is you. Okay, so the way that you can tell which one is me is when you look at the private message, you should be able to see mutual servers. And anybody that tries to impersonate me, as soon as they change their name, is immediately banned. So if you don't share mutual servers with them, then it's not me. And also, I will never just message you out of the blue. Like I just never have the reason, generally never have the reason to initiate a message with somebody. It's very, very rare. So if somebody starts the message with you, it's a scam. And, you know, I wish I could say that it's some sort of, scam against me in particular, which is to say that like they've seen, oh, Speculator Seth is really popular, so let's try and impersonate him and yada, yada, yada. But from what I've seen, it's actually just that we're a public Discord and these bots and scammers and stuff just automatically try to impersonate the server owner is what happens. And from what another thing that I can tell from my scripts and stuff is that it is people like they'll join some other, you'll be on some other Discord and they'll be like, hey, I'll give you money for every person that you bring over to our Discord. And here is a method of doing things that, you know, is kind of shady, but like it totally works. And now go out and message everybody. It's because they're like usually legitimate accounts. Yeah, they're trying to get you to buy stuff. It's funny. Yeah. You want to see, let me see here. Where's my log? Well, I haven't seen one in a bit. Let's double check here. Because I haven't seen any banned today. Yeah, there is a few. Or there are two that have been around for a decent amount of time. There we go. Back to the log. When was the last time? Oh man. Sometimes hard to keep up on the log because like if something spams, like every message gets deleted, right? So it's just... Okay, well then there's another way of going about this, which is let's check the logs. That's not right. Oh, right. Yes, because it's not getting on there. It's oh man. How was I doing this? How was I doing this? Oh boy, I don't know if I have. Yeah, it's been so long. I see. It may still be running, but it looks like that something changed. Yeah. I'm a little bit like, oh man, it's been so long since I've messed with this that I don't remember everything about what I had. It looks like I was doing it from here. Oh, okay, there we go. Oops, wrong one. Da, 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 21. Nope, it's totally still working. It's been up for 120 days. Just hasn't found any in a little bit. But there are some that get through somehow. Not very many, but it catches most of them. I wanted to show you like how many it actually catches. It's like just insane, but it has kind of died off over the last month. Like they stopped coming through because it didn't work very well. Anyways, the Ross Phillip, I don't know if you're still there, but there's two other things to say about this. Okay, one is that I can ban people from my server, but I can't ban them from messaging you. So please report the account. Okay, report the account to Discord. And you report the account and they'll take them down. Number two thing is that we created a second Discord. So the futures trading Discord was never really meant to be my Discord anyways. It was always kind of a general futures trading thing anyways that existed before we did the stream and before I was a creator. But, you know, because we get the spam, what we did is we made a Speculator Seth premium Discord, which is linked in the announcements of the main Discord. And it's only $3 a month. So I made it, that's as cheap as Discord will let me make it. But by having a $3 a month of subscription, that prevents any robots from joining. Now, the kind of content that we get over there is a little bit different. There's not as much general discussion, and there's a lot more like me posting. Like when I do code here, I usually will come back and post the code in the premium Discord, for instance. I will make messages about specific news things that I see going on that I think, you know, might be able to take advantage of. So it's a little bit different, but we are starting to get, you know, we're working on it. And I think in a few months here, we'll have some just as much, if not more activity over here. So that's another thing is that if you really want to stay in contact with me and follow me and everything, but you don't want to get spammed by the people on Discord, join the premium Discord. Okay. Man, over here, I don't know why it took me so long to get the commands for the... I did try it over here, didn't I? Oh, I don't know. Oh, because I didn't assume that it was just going to work this way. I think I've kind of been slacking on the bots thing just because there hasn't been very many, you know? Like I hasn't had, like I did such a good job of filtering it out that they kind of stopped trying. It's like it must have been on some list or somewhere and they took it off the list. I don't know. Okay. Oh, well, so it's 9:15. It should have been, it's been more than 10 minutes. So I would think that this would be trying to take a short now at this point, but oh, maybe it's not doing it because I limited the time frame to 11. No, I limited it to 9:30. That's why. Yeah, right here. So I tell it in the settings end time 9:30. So that's why I didn't. Otherwise, it probably would be trying to take a trade right now. I do wonder if I come in here and I turn on the tick replay, if it's no, does not. But it does pick up a bit there. That's it. That's interesting. So like this adds the strategy in there. I don't know if the strategy is using the caching and stuff like that. So there's kind of could be some weird stuff going, like because I can't see the properties of the indicator underneath. I can't see like what the idea of it is. So yeah, anyways, it's fine. It's probably fine. Probably fine. We just although I would like it to do the tick replay. Is the tick replay turned off by default? I don't remember. I'll have to look at that tomorrow. Let's just run it tomorrow with the tick replay turned off. And we'll see if it gives us a trade tomorrow. Something's not working with it correctly because it should have at least picked it up cache, right? But maybe it's adding the indicator a new time or something. Oh, that could be a problem. So then I would need to pass it the ID. I think that's probably it. Well, I can deal with that later. Maybe if I get done with the other things today, I can take a look at that. But I've got some other things that I got to do today. So I will see you guys tomorrow. In the meantime, stay excellent, team.